Hey guys, welcome to The Den, starring me, Tanner, and my lifelong best friend, Jose Mendoza. Today's podcast will be Jose and I, because unfortunately, Elton and Hunter could not make it. So how's it going?
Living the dream, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So you say you're living the dream. What do you mean by that?
Well, I was given an opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
And what was that opportunity?
That opportunity was to be an electrician, a dream that I've wanted to fulfill since I was in middle school.
And how exactly were you given that opportunity?
Well, back in high school, I had this one English teacher that, always pushed us to turn in our assignments, do better in life. And she would always tell us that college isn't for everybody. She told us stories of her experiences of before she became a teacher. And she came to me. She was like, I know college isn't for everyone. And I don't technically know what you want to do in the future, but here's this. It's just, she showed me this website with all the lists of apprenticeships programs here in the state. So I was like, okay. And I told her what I wanted to do. And she told me. She sent me the link and everything. So I looked into it. And she pushed me. She says, you got to apply. I want you to apply. I hope this works. And I found a couple here close to me where I didn't want to move far away from home. And I found one in Spokane. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that leap of faith and apply and see where things go down. So there's this apprenticeship program in Spokane, through the IBU. So I applied. Back in October of 2018. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do something else while I wait for a response. So then I got a letter back in February telling me I have an interview on the 21st.
Well, that is actually super awesome to hear. But how'd that interview go?
Man, to be honest with you, going into it, I was nervous as heck, man. I was shaking. I had the jitters. My dad went with me, So I was like, all right, I got this. I was confident the night before. I get there, and I'm like, oh, God. I got the jitterbugs bad. So we got there. My interview was at 10. I got there. People were going in. Man, keep in mind, people, or the guys being interviewed, were taking 5 to 10 minutes in this room and stuff. Man, when it was my turn, I went in there. I noticed there was 4 people. 4 people I had an interview in front of, and I was like, oh, please, God, help me with this one. They asked me questions, just questions about how I heard and yada, yada, yada. My interview, I want to say, it wasn't even 5 minutes long, man. I swear, it was like 3 minutes long. I got out. One of the guys out there, they were like, man, that was quick. I was like, yeah,
You're a little bit scared.
I was a little bit scared. Yeah, I was like, it had to be longer than this. I was like, oh, I probably didn't get it. I probably didn't do good. So I went to the receptionist. She's like, all right, in about a week you'll get a letter or an email. No, it was a letter telling you how you did. And so I went home, talked to my dad, just giving him input and stuff. So. And
then you waited a week, and.
Well, okay. So I waited a week. My dad comes home from work. I just got off work, and so I was, just having a regular day.
Hating your life,
Yeah.
A 9-to-5 job, that you don't want to work.
Okay, it wasn't 9 to 5, but
but
I get the gist.
Yeah. But same thing. Yeah. So you were just working a job that, you didn't want to be at, like 90% of the jobs here in Wenatchee.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like my job, I liked my job before I got into all this. Don't get me wrong, but. I didn't like the days off. Monday, Wednesday, come on. Split days off, come on, that's fucked up.
You want the weekends off so you can watch the Seahawks game. And
yeah, exactly. So, I had to sit in the car, sneak the game out and stuff, you know what I mean? But anyways, my dad came home. He's like, hey, you got a letter in the mail. And I was like, oh, snap. And
it's about to go down.
It's about to go down, yeah. So I was like, oh, man, at the time you were living with me.
At the time I was.
Yeah, so this day you weren't working. So I was like, all right, bro, I'm nervous, So I opened it up. I started reading it. And for a second, once I started reading it, I was like, oh, man, I didn't get accepted. And I looked down, and the way they scored their interview was, like a test score, 0 to 100. it was it literally said you scored a 97 out of 100. Man, I was like, it doesn't matter how long your interview is. If you know what you're talking about and you're confident of what you want to do, just do it. And it said that I was going to be put on this waiting list. And this waiting list is the possibility to be, it could be 2 years long. And it says that if I don't get called or contacted within those 2 years, to reapply and redo the process. Come on.
Which you really didn't want to do, because who wants to do that? But,
yeah, exactly.
It's all part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And I told my dad, and he's like, well, I guess you're going to have to keep working where you're at until you do something or go apply somewhere else.
And you're like, God damn it, I got to go back to my 9 to 5.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this. Yeah, fuck this job. I'm about to be ready to, leave.
You're like, I quit.
I hate these guys. Yeah. But I truly didn't hate anyone. It's just the type of people we are. It's the way we get along with people.
Right. We just joke around, and we love to make people smile or laugh.
Like, that's probably the best thing in the world to me. I love seeing people smile. And that's what we do.
It's what we do. It's our best trait. So a few months went by, and what happened?
Well, to be honest, it was just another regular day, in April. And I came home. For some reason, I decided to check my emails. So I did, and it happened to be from the program. So basically, they were telling me that I was next up on the list.
And what kind of situation did that put you in?
It put me in a tough situation, man, because she was giving me 2 weeks to find an apartment and settle down in Spokane. And that's hard to do, man. 2 weeks to find an apartment and move everything, that's tough.
Right, and that's also 2 weeks to kind of let this settle in.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're starting this new adventure, and 2 weeks isn't a long time to, move 3.5 hours away and pretty much start your life completely over on your own with nobody surrounded by you.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, taking that big leap of faith to start over. And quite frankly, I wasn't so happy about it, but I knew in the long run it was going to benefit me. So I was like, you know what, I have to do this. I have to do what I got to do in life, I got to pursue my dreams.
So that you can be happy in the end, happy doing what you want, and, like we said, fulfill one of your dreams. And, not too many people get to say they can do that, because fulfilling a dream is something that is extremely difficult and
to do nowadays.
Right. Because nowadays there's a lot of stupid factors that go into fulfilling your dreams, but you're living proof that if you continue to strive for what you want and what you believe in and what you dream of, you can get there. And that is something that is a very, very good trait to carry on in life.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Like people say, I get it. People think like when people say, "Oh, keep working at it," or it's motivational stuff like that. They think it's just easier said than done. Obviously, it is, but when you actually strived for it, it's a little different. You know what I mean?
It's different in the way that hard work pays off.
It does. It really does. In the end, it really does.
Exactly. So, for months and months, you were doing something that you didn't want to do. So in the end, you could be doing something you enjoy and you love. And it puts you in a situation that it's kind of like a mindset. Mm-hmm. You have to get into this mindset and go, no matter what, in the end, I'm going to be doing what I want to do. And whether that takes the most effort or whatever it may be, you just have to keep going. You have to strive for your dreams and your goals.
Exactly, like what my dad said. Whatever you need to sacrifice so many things in life to get what you need at the end. So if it's me sacrificing moving away from my parents and family, I have to do that. I'm a family orientated person, so I love to be around my family and my grandparents. It's what I love doing. So moving away was hard.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And
and you can say you did the same though.
I did the same thing. So and how I did the same thing, not too many people may know this, but literally about a week after we graduated high school, I moved down to Florida. I moved down to Florida with my parents and my sister because we opened up an ice cream shop down there. Well, I was very stubborn about going down there, and I couldn't get into the mindset that I wanted to go down there.
Yeah, you didn't want to leave your best friend.
I didn't want to leave you. I didn't want to leave my best friend. I didn't want to leave where I grew up and where I created my life. And
you don't want to lose. You didn't want to lose all the memories.
Exactly.
Everybody you have here.
Exactly. So I, for months and months and months, I just put it to the back of my head, and I said, you know what, it's gonna happen, but I don't want to think about it. So during those months, I tried convincing you to come down with me, and we came out with this plan that you and I were going to go down there, and we were going to start a new life. Well, and that's what made me make the decision, saying,
all right, let's do it.
I'm okay with it. And let's make a move. So, months came down, and we graduated on June 8th. Well, we were leaving June 18th, which happens to be
the day
after my birthday. So I remember I woke up June 18th super early to move down to Florida, and I gave you a call, and I said, hey, man, you coming with? And you gave me the news that you weren't coming. And for me, that was heartbreaking because I'm leaving my brother behind, and it was difficult. So it put me in this situation of, I don't want to go. I don't want to be there. I hate everything about this decision. Well, the next 5 days, because it is a 5-day trip, 12 hours a day, to drive down to Florida, I had 5 days to just sit in a vehicle and think, like, what am I going to do? I'm starting my life completely over. And it put something into perspective. And what that is that change is good, but you need to remember where you came from and what makes you happy. So we ended up moving to Florida, and we opened the ice cream shop, and that's a huge long story in itself, which
we won't get into.
I will
maybe bring it along later.
I plan on bringing my dad onto this podcast, and we'll talk about it then. But I was down there for just over a month.
Yeah.
And here's what's crazy. When I was down there, about 2 weeks into being there, I booked my flight home because I was like, I got to get out of here. And honestly,
I remember that month because to me, it was the longest month, because I remember before you even moved down, like before we even graduated high school, we'd spend summers, we'd hang out. I'd work, try to get some money. We'd work, I'd work, I should say. And we'd always somehow, hang out, find time to hang out,
So here, this is what I find to be crazy about us. Any free time we had, we wanted to hang out together. And, that's a special bond that we have. And we've had it since the 4th grade.
Yeah, it's freaking, now it's like 12 years in the making, and
right.
It's great.
So we moved 3,000 miles away from each other, and it was
hard.
It was unbearable. It was unbearable.
It was.
And we talked every day, and every day I was down there, I woke up, I was depressed, dude. I didn't want to be there. I didn't like my life.
Imagine how I felt, man.
Exactly.
I was working 7 days a week, more than 50 hours a week, you know what I mean? And not being able to do anything and realizing that my best friend is 3,000 miles away from me broke me, because all I did was wake up, go to work, get out 4, 5 o'clock, maybe 6 at the latest, go home, talk to him for a little bit, shower, and eat, have dinner, whatever, and then go to bed. That was miserable. But, you have to do things in life to get something out of it at the end. But the hardest thing for me was that month, that solid month, not being able to hang out with my brother. My brother. It's just, I'm going to be honest with you. It felt weird, man. After having you in my life for so long, since the 4th grade, seeing each other every other day, every day at school, like, it was just crazy because I would see you, going from seeing you every day to not seeing you at all. That broke my heart, bro, because, like I said, you're my brother. We do everything together. We try to do everything together. But we know that's how life is. There's obstacles in life that we have to get over in different situations,
Right. So, every day that I woke up down there, I just, I woke up thinking, I got to get out of here, and I got to go back to where I want to be. So I made this plan to move back to Wenatchee, and every day we kind of added to the plan, and I had texted you, and I go, hey, is it okay if I stay with you? Well,
you texted me, and I was for sure shit. For me, I was like, yeah. Like with me, I was like happy. I was like, yeah, he's gonna come back with me or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna go ask my parents to see what they think. I asked them, and they're like, yeah, as long as he finds a job, does what he has to do in life to help himself, then yeah, go for it. And
I came back, and moving away from my family was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Moving away from my parents that I've lived with my whole life, and it was very, very heartbreaking. And I remember I got dropped off at the airport and saying goodbye, obviously not forever, but goodbye to my parents was, it just destroyed me. And seeing my mom and my dad cry when I was leaving was like, made me think, am I making the right choice? And, it was one of those leap of faith things. I did it. I came home, and I pretty much started my life completely over again. And with the help of Jose and his parents, I am extremely thankful for everything that they've done for me. And, I lived pretty much on my own with Jose.
Just because, everybody would work and
everybody was
stuff,
working,
like school and all that stuff,
Exactly. So
everyday things.
My parents were still in Florida. Obviously, we kept in contact every day, but it was a surreal thing because
a big
here again, I'm 3,000 miles away from my family, and it's very hard to do. And through that time, I had a Thanksgiving and a Christmas without my family. That was brutal. And to be quite honest with you, it's something I never want to do again. But, I had to do it, and it was really eye-opening of what life is like without family.
It's crazy. It really is.
And, it was a tough time, and now my parents are back. My family's back in Wenatchee, living here, and we're all together again, and it's great. And I'm a lot happier with my family here. I'm here with my friends, my brother. It's awesome.
Keep in mind, we don't actually have brothers. We grew up with a sister. He grew up with a sister. I grew up with 2 sisters. I'm the middle child. So he's literally technically my brother. So that's why, we grew up together. So he's technically my brother from another mother. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We share this
special bond. A special
bond. And
to be honest with you, it's unbreakable because we can go days, months, maybe even years without talking to each other and still pick up where we left off.
Exactly. Not that we want to do that, but it's just something that I wish everybody could experience. And if you get the chance to experience that, take pride in it and make something out of it, because it is something that I wouldn't be the same person today if he wasn't in my life. Yeah. A little funny story about how we actually became friends.
Oh, God.
So
we got to get into this right now.
Back in 4th grade, this guy...
it was lunchtime, by the way.
It was lunchtime.
Oh, God.
And he decided that he was thirsty, right? So we're sitting next to each other.
We're sitting across each other.
We're sitting across from each other. And he starts drinking out of a milk carton. And I go, yo, that's my milk.
Yeah, I was like, wait. Oh, snap, it is. And I was like, I finished it. And I was like, hey, you can drink out of mine.
And I was like, nah, dude, I don't want it. So, from that point on, we have been best friends. And we actually haven't had a day without talking. So that's kind of something that we both put into perspective. And it's something we carry with us. And we will for the rest of our lives, because we're best friends. We're brothers. And
nothing can break the special bond we have.
Exactly. So anyways, a few months go by and now we're here.
Yeah, and I love my job, man. I'm happy where I'm at. My bosses are pretty cool. Probably the best boss you'll ever have, They helped me out. One of them helped me out, for the first 2 months. I was homeless for the first 2 months. He helped me. He let me stay in one of his motorhomes he had, and while I found my own place, and that happened. But here we are today, happier than ever. At least I am. I don't know. I think we both are.
Yeah. We're pretty happy, and we're just striving for what we want to do. And for me, this podcast is one of them. So,
one of many goals we have.
And with all of that being said, we just kind of wanted to tell you guys...
come on here and tell you guys a little bit about us.
I
know it's not much, but just a little bit.
Because some people may not know our stories. Yeah. And obviously we have a lot more to tell, and we'll get to that in further episodes. But
hopefully.
I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, so did I. This gives a little insight about us.
So we really hope you enjoy this episode.
We appreciate you guys listening this far.
Exactly. It's a
lot to listen to.
Even if you made it this far,
thank you.
We appreciate you more than we could even explain in words, especially me. And it means everything for you guys to listen to this podcast and hopefully enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the main goal. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And if you want to support and cop some merch, the link is in the description below. And for the first 2 weeks, it is 15% off.
Wait. The first 2 weeks? 15% off?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Man, what a deal. I think I might have to cop a shirt or something, because I need to rep my boys.
And Christmas is just around the corner. So if you need to get your family something like a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hat, anything, you can go to our shop and purchase something. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, I really enjoyed having you on today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you for listening.